Even with perfect punch mechanics, you could be telegraphing your attacks by making this one tiny tactical mistake. Whenever Dillian wants to throw his right hand with power, he loads his rear hip, sitting weight back so he can launch it forward with his attack. Dillian usually does this quite well, disguising the weight shift with decoys, defenses, lead hand punches, and control tactics, but he does it almost every time he attacks, and his inability or unwillingness to power punch from a neutral position makes him rather predictable. Now, this is more of a tactical blunder than a technical mistake, since there are plenty of good reasons to load the back hip before you punch. It adds power, giving you more room to twist into the shot and making the weight shift more dramatic, and the quick level change can also work as a feint, a slip, or a timing mix-up. Hip loading also blends well with other techniques. For example, you can punch onto the back hip with a jab, lead hook, or lead uppercut, occupying the opponent and using the natural weight shift to load your next shot. You can also slip onto the back hip with or without a level change to load up while moving off of the attack line and implying that a body shot might be coming next. Yet another option would be to push yourself onto the back hip using control, off-balancing your opponent and potentially trapping their hand as you settle the weight back for a big power shot. Without question, this is a good technique that you should develop. Dillian is just using it too often. If you need to load the hip every single time you want to hit hard, your punches are easy to avoid and you are easy to hit. So why does Dillian do this? Why might you be doing this? In his case, this could be an unconscious habit created to compensate for subpar punching mechanics. It wouldn't be the first time. In another video, Nigel Ben pointed out how Dillian telegraphs his jab with a different kind of loading movement, one that could be corrected by cleaning up his start position.
When you do that, he's already away. He sees the movement.
Now, I'm just speculating here, but I think that Dillian has to load the hip because he doesn't turn his shoulders and torso far enough into his punches. Doubling down on the weight shift is one way to compensate for poor rotation. Dillian's fight and training videos are packed with examples of him throwing relatively weak, half-finished right hands with shallow rotation anytime he attempts to punch without a big load-up. Here we see his trainer correcting his start and end position, trying to get Whyte to begin the punch standing more side-on and ending with the hip and shoulder positions reversed. When you carry yourself in this position that the trainer is setting up, your hips and shoulders have room to rotate fully into the shot and the back leg stays loaded at all times. Maybe not as drastically as Dillian likes, but more than enough to power a right hand with no excess startup movement.
You gotta give God half of your body.
Tiene que salir de aquí, cortito, tiene que tu cuerpo aventarla con el hombro y con el cuerpo, ¿no?
Bang, bang. Load it, load it.